Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the YouTube Livey. And shout out to everybody who's watching this live, watching this replay. We truly appreciate it. Episode 80 came out today. Okay, 80 people. We creeping on that 100. I didn't even know we were this far. It just actually clicked to my head that we're at 80. So check that out on nickyandmoose.com or all your favorite podcast players. We had Daryl, Mays, and when I say just first off, an amazing human being. He doesn't talk too much. He thinks he talks too much. I think he talks just fine, right? But just hearing his journey and how he broke down and was very transparent about YouTube, about the different streams, about the creative process, I think it was really fire. So if you heard that podcast episode yet, just let us know, whether in the chat or in the comments, however you feel like you want to do this. Moose, how did you think about the episode?
Yeah, really dope, man. I mean, I think interviewing, or at least just speaking with him, was really dope because he was the closest to his success. Like, somebody who's had success for a long time, even when they reflect on it, they just don't remember the intricate details of what really happened and how it went down and what they did. But I think my man is just a few months removed. So he's telling you his story through the pandemic. Granted, he's been at it for a while. I mean, he's also been doing videos for nearly a decade, but I'm just saying, like, the rise is still fresh, that we got a really dope perspective about it. And he was super down to earth and very transparent about, exactly how much he's making and what he does and what groups he's a part of. So I'm like, yeah, dude really came on just really wanting to share and be an open book about everything. So it was a dope conversation.
Yeah, he's so dope. And I didn't know he had like 1 million followers on TikTok too. He's killing the game. I was like,
killing it. Yeah.
All right. My bad.
I've always thought he was funny ever since he was doing some work alongside Quest. So I remember that. Like when I first saw him, he was doing beats in BU. Like he would drop his beat videos in BU. I thought it was hilarious. And then linked up with Quest and then followed the journey along. I'm like, yo, he's really taken off and done his thing. So he's dope. And the after show, for those of you not a part of the after show or subscribe to the after show, man, let me tell you, he really opened up the playbook in the after show. So if you're not a part of that, man, definitely check that out because that was dope. That was dope. It's actually the first interview that we've done or first guest that we've had on that we brought onto the after show with us. Because typically
no. Can't let you do that. No. We had Jeremy and Sarah both start off the after show and they did exclusive.
Really? Yes.
They were the ones that started off.
Okay, man, it's been a minute. Jeremy and Sarah, they're dope episodes too. But no, it's been a minute. But okay, so I take that part back. But still, check out the after show because my man did his thing on that as well.
Yep. And we see you trucking from scratch. We see you early on the check-in. Shout out to him. Look, I had a dope one-on-one with him. That's who I got to talk to you about. I had a dope one-on-one with him. He's killing the game. Y'all better check out his YouTube channel. I mean,
really?
I think he's almost at 100K.
Wow.
Yeah, all talking about accounting, but from a trucking side. Like super niche down. Like he knows what he's doing and what's to come is super exciting. So shout out to him. And as you saw, he did the super chat. So if we add any kind of value today, super chat is like tipping for creators. So, leave as much as you want. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna pressure y'all. I'm not gonna pressure y'all.
Recommended,
Yeah.
However you
Also,
feel.
those who are in the check-in, who's watching live or the replay, where are you guys watching from? Let us know. Let's shout out y'all for a little bit. But Moose, how's everything in your season? Are you getting used to like?
Pretty good.
You don't look so famished this time. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you change something?
No, I mean, I've just been a lot more mindful and careful around how to divide my work along with the spiritual fast. It's like, there's a lot that you do, and you can't just work the same as you would if you were eating and drinking normally.
Right.
So my schedule is like, it's still flip-flopped. I'm still up. I still get up at 4:15, 4:30 to have like a meal and do my prayer then. That's like what we call the pre-dawn meal or something like that. And I'll try to go back to sleep. I've been doing pretty good with that, and that's what's been helping me. So when I go back to bed, say 5:36, I can get some rest, start my workday a little later in the morning, and then divvy it up between the calls, the recording, some of the stuff that we got going on. So it's a nice little system I got in place right now that's been helping me out. And it's been dope month, man. It's been dope. We just got through day 11 as of 30 minutes ago.
Let's go.
Yeah. So we in the second third, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Second, third. I don't know what that means, but that's
I don't know either. But I'm saying like the second third it's like we got 1/3 of the way through is probably the better way to say it. So yeah, I got one third of the way through. We got the rest of it happening now. Yeah.
I'm with that. Real quick, I'm sick.
Passed it on.
There's this bug going all along. Moose said he got it last week or something. It just somehow got to me somehow. And so what I've learned, and shout out to everybody. I shout out to my text gang. I was like, yo, I'm going to need y'all energy coming through, because what I've learned when I had the vid, I don't have the vid, by the way. I just have a bug, okay? Don't come at me. Are you sure? Nowadays when you're sick, you're like, hold on.
That's the first thing you got to say. It's like,
right.
I don't have it, but I am a little sick.
Oh no. I definitely checked it. I bought one from Walgreens super quick. Nope. Feeling this like this is not right. Give me
a little itchy boy.
Right. Not doing it. Feels like it's closing up. I don't know what's happening. Right. So first thing I checked was that. But what I've realized from that time that I did have it is prioritizing what's important, what's not, right? Mm-hmm. So these past 2 days that I've been like super out, it's like I'm only putting energy to what is a need for that day, right? So today I woke up, right, 3:00, did the thing for E, went back to sleep. Woke up, posted the podcast stuff, went back to sleep. Spend majority of the day resting, right? Until right now. I was like, I'm not doing anything else until right now. Like, and it helps because it allows rest. And I'm super stubborn, right? If I'm like, no, I'm good. I could do all these different things. I got, no. Priorities. And then what I need to figure out is the balance of doing that when I'm well as well. I shouldn't only have to work this way when I'm sick.
Yo.
You feel me?
That's so crazy. That's so crazy you say that though, because when I got sick last week, I was on the live. I don't know if y'all really tuned in. I was trying to be slick with it, but I had like some tissue by my side, and like every couple minutes, because my nose was running, I'd be, like drying myself off here. But when I got sick last week, the biggest takeaway I got was I really felt that was my lesson of, yo, stop thinking you're invincible. Like, I felt like that was the reason why I got sick. It was like, stop doing this thing as though you will never, fall off this perfect health type scenario if you keep going this way.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, no, I got to really pay attention to this because, yeah, it's some serious stuff. So now I'm with you on that. And when you said that, it reminded me of last week for sure. I was like, yo, that's crazy. I literally walked away from those couple of days saying the same exact thing. Because one night when my fever shot up, I was like, oh, I got to check my life insurance policy or something because this don't feel right. That's what came to my mind. I'm like, yo, hold up. I got to check my life insurance policy. That thing got serious.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want that feeling. Feeling.
Nah, it was bad. But yeah, so we got to. But and the crazy thing is, you've been doing your thing though. You've been on a health journey for a minute. With
right. But okay. This is what I told.
I know what you're gonna say. This is hilarious.
So this is a real situation. We're gonna get into the topic, I promise you. But this is a real situation because for those people who's been following me and everything, I've been on my sea moss, black seed oil, all the vitamins in the world, and this, that, and the third. And ever since, I was getting serious about it during COVID. Right, during the whole COVID season, because I didn't want no problems. I didn't want the vid at all. But as I got healthier, quote unquote, I got the vid. As I get healthier and document everything, and I get sick. Before, when I was fat and chubby, even though I'm still chubby, fat and chubby and all that great stuff, I was fine. I didn't get sick. I didn't have no problems, nothing. I was good. Everybody else was getting sick. Everybody else was doing what they do. I was fine, happy, great, with pound cake and bagels and all this great stuff. Cookies every single month, about like 12. Big, huge shout out to Cookie Plug. Y'all need to send me some more. But because clearly me doing this health journey is just not it for me. No, it's not. I need one more thing. I will say, I'm going to say this on live. Okay. I need one more health situation. We had the vid and now we have this bug, but I'm taking all these great things, right? I need one more thing. One. And I'm going back to my chubby ways. I was happy. I was good. People were like, you're little, but it's okay. You know what? Yeah. You only live once. And I was good. I was, my mom, even shout out to my mom. She's like, you okay? You're gaining a little weight. This is great. But I mean, and I know it is because when I lost the weight, she was like, oh my God, you look great. Oh, so I was really fat. Okay, cool. Right? You
can tell. Yeah.
Right. You go always, especially crazy. With a Hispanic mom. Spanish moms are too blunt. But so I got one more time. One more. Yeah, let me get a mini fever. Let me get a cough. Let me all of a sudden get allergies. Whatever it is. I'm not doing it no more. Y'all better get the pound cake, the ice cream, the cookies, all the candy in the world, whatever it is. We going out. I'm ordering the 4-course meal, not just one, not thinking about an appetizer, not skipping the dessert because this is a season. I'm sorry, I'm going on a mini rant. I get it because this makes no sense. Why am I sick?
You're the only person who I've seen get more sick eating healthier than when you ate junk. I'm not gonna lie. I will say that. You're the only person. You know what I'm saying? Probably the only one.
And it's highly documented. It's highly documented.
It is. Yeah, no, because we was definitely partners in crime over dessert pre-COVID.
Yes.
So pre-COVID, when we was traveling quite a bit, I can always count on you to be the one who's gonna go, get the extra dessert when everyone's like, nah, I'm tapped out, I'm full. And it's like, yo, dessert? It's like, okay, I know Nicky was always coming through. So, I'm with you on that. I don't blame you. It's a fair bet.
Shout out to everybody who's laughing in the chat right now. We see you.
Yeah. No, it's a true story.
No, this is a fact. This is a real life situation. Y'all think this is playing. Like, this is, I did not get sick. My mom was always like, you need to take the flu shot. No, I'm not getting the flu shot. I'm not getting anything. I haven't been sick in forever. Mm-hmm. What is it, like a couple of months time span? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
And it's been ugly.
Juices and everything. Green Delight, all that. I'm drinking green juice for what?
So what's the one you get from Whole Foods?
I get green delight. I get energized focus, which is good. That helped with the brain fog and everything. There's 3 things I do. Okay. Shout out to your wife, because she got me something. It was like 3 items that I'm not sure which one helped, but I'm using all 3 every single day.
Just in case. Yeah.
I got this immunity one that didn't immune nothing. This didn't do anything. Okay. It's just immunity, energized focus, and green delight. Those are the 3 juices. I'm whatever. Where's all those holistic people that like, Nikki, you're doing this wrong. Help me then. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Okay. I'll admit that.
Yeah. Get some help.
Because this is ridiculous. And I'm not understanding. I'm not. But go ahead. Good. Let's talk about whatever we need to talk about.
We'll get into the topic now. I mean, y'all make sure to help Nikki out. I mean, I see a couple people in the chat like, your pH balance could be off. It sounds like some real experience stuff in there, some expert talk around.
No, this didn't immune nothing. Didn't immune nothing. You feel me? Nothing.
Yeah. So we gonna try and get you that help, Nick. Prayerfully, we will reverse this awkward thing that's happening with you there. But yeah, so I was thinking today, about what we were going to talk about, and like for me, I'm more of like that technical kind of linear person. So I always want to pick something that is like going to really be value packed, right? Like I was thinking about something like, how do you know when to start your second business or something like that? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but truth be told, the thing that feels the most real to me is this concept of overcoming rejection. And the reason why I say that is because we've been in this space for a minute now, like building a business or helping people with their brand or however you want to look at it. We've been in the space for quite some time, right? We're going over 5, 6, 7 years or something like that. And for us, for the amount of hours that we've put in, it feels like longer. And that's why I feel like we've been here for a minute. But one of the things that we always do, especially with the podcast, we're studying the difference and the key things that make people successful in building their brand and their business. And when I really thought about it, I'm like, is it the fancy stuff? Is it that they have a very sophisticated business model? Is it that they have the best camera and the best content and the best this? It could be. It could be.
Right.
But when you really boil it down, the truth is they just take more chances, right? Like they literally take more chances than the average person does. Some to which they fail, we don't know, right? Maybe they never stick around or they disappear, so be it.
Right.
But if you're taking more chances than the average person, whether it be posting your content, whether it be asking for a sale, whether it be just telling people about yourself, whether it be just showing up every day for your community or your tribe, it could be a variety of different things. If you're just taking an extra chance, one more than the person who gave up next to you, your chances of winning and being more successful are going to be significantly higher, right? Because of nothing you did but taking an extra chance or taking an extra shot. And when you think about it, so like, okay, well, if we know that, then what stops us from doing it? And the first answer that came to my mind was the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
You're afraid of hearing the word no. You're afraid of someone possibly telling you that your stuff is not that good, or that you don't have the right credibility, or you don't have the right credentials. And the list goes on all of these, what if they said this? And it's like, man, how many of those things actually happened though? I don't know. And so I was like, yeah, no, we got to bring it to the live show and really talk about how do we help each other, ourselves, and others, of course, to overcome this concept of rejection so that they can finally start taking more chances and giving themselves an opportunity to grow and expand their brand. Because one of the things that I always like when you say is, you're actually losing to people who are not as good as you.
Right.
Like if you were losing, if somebody beat you out because they're just flat out better than you, cool. But to lose to people who are not even better than you, or don't have the level of integrity or intentions that you have for your client base because of a low insecurity thing. I don't know if we can call fear of rejection an insecurity thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's like, because of that.
Right.
Nah, damn, let's talk about that.
I mean, I would call, to a certain extent, I think there's levels,
Yeah.
but I do think a little bit is insecurity, right? You don't have enough belief in yourself, right? So as much as that may be like, nah, I mean, I love what you said, because there's just certain people that will do something over and over again, then try this, then try that, then try this, then try that, and not care how they look about it. That's the important part. Like, not care. Like, okay, this didn't work. Okay, but when we're talking about like brands and businesses, depending on what you do, you're still making, if it's on a monetizing situation, you're making way more than if you did nothing.
Right.
So let's say you tried this and maybe your hopes were like, let's say 6 figures, but you got, I don't know, 1,000. That's 1,000 more than if you didn't do it, you know? Okay, regroup, try something else. Okay, now you made 5,000. Oh, okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm big on saying we sell clouds. Like, our ideas are literally clouds. They're nothing.
Yeah.
And people will buy into these ideas if executed correctly, right? You clearly have to have a great track record, or they see what's happening right then and there, and they'll purchase it, right? Or they'll, sign up or whatever it is. But it is something that, even to myself, like, I take risks, but I know I could try this a little bit more. I could try, but sometimes it's like, yo, I don't really want to look this dumb. I don't really want to look this dumb, right?
Wow.
But then that's a feeling. That's like, yo, I feel I'll look dumb. There's no facts. Maybe what I want to do would would impact somebody greatly if I was to just do it, right? But also, some of the things for myself, I will say, is lack of knowledge. I would love to do this if I knew this, right? And there's certain things that I wouldn't even know where to get that information. There's some, right? And so those are kind of the two things I see for myself is, okay, I'll look dumb, or I really just don't know how I could do this, right?
Yeah.
And when you are thinking of things outside of the box and super risk taking, you can't really depend on anybody else because no one else is doing it either. So, like, how am I supposed to grab certain information from other people if I ain't seen it done yet? Like, okay, am I supposed to grab funding for this brand new idea? Am I supposed to put it up? Like, it's the weirdest thing sometimes. So I think lack of knowledge is one of those things that stop me. Not necessarily fear of rejection, but if I don't know something, I can't move on it, right? And maybe that's because if I move on it and I don't have the right information, I've realized based off last situations where it's like, yo, you lose a lot of money moving that way. You feel me? Like, if you don't have the knowledge and you just go, you lose a lot of time and money. So past experiences can create a fear as well.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy, because I actually heard someone literally just last week. They said something along the lines of how clarity comes before confidence. Like, people aim to build this confidence about what they do first, or about a feeling that they're after. It's like, oh, I want to be confident. I want to feel good in my own skin, or I want to be able to speak with power and all of these things. But they said clarity comes before confidence. So if you want confidence, you got to be clear on what you're doing, what you're saying, because it gives you the opportunity to practice it, to get those reps in, to get the kinks out of your process or wherever it may be. That over time, what's confidence? Well, it's something that I've done over and over and over again that I've figured out that I can't mess up. Or even if I do mess up, regardless of what happens, I can always work my way out of it. But you got to work on that clarity first piece. So I kind of like how you said that, because I didn't really like make much of it, but I'm like, oh, that does make sense. When I'm clear on what I'm doing, I won't hesitate to take action. I won't doubt myself as much because I have more clarity.
Right.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's even if you haven't done it, like per se, like I'm big on the on-job training, right? Like let's say you haven't put your hands on it, but you have all the information on it. Like you there's a certain level of like, oh, I could do this. I may look a little dumb, but I have the foundation of these things based off, information that I've learned. But when it's like, okay, I don't have no information and I'm going to look dumb. Hold on now. Hold on.
Yeah. Both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides. Now that's a good start, man. So it's like, that's probably something that people need to ask themselves when up against that fence. It's like, am I feeling this way because of lack of information? Or is it because of that part of like, okay, I don't want to look a certain way, right? I don't want to appear as not being competent or whatever the case might be. So that's a great question. Talk about the people who kind of just struggle with the possibility of what could happen. It's like, oh, well, what if I put and those what ifs, right? And I think some people in the comments spoke to it about self-limiting beliefs are written all over that because a lot of what you're concerned about hasn't happened. So like if you've done something in the past and people laughed at you, they mocked you, they put you down and you said, oh, my reason for it is because in the past, this is what's happened. Yeah. Okay, cool. Maybe you have something to stand on. Maybe. I'll put a strong maybe to that. Not even definitive. But if you've never had that happen and you on the what if position, it's like, okay, let's talk about what ifs.
Yeah, what ifs are negative sometimes. So we instantly, as humans, think of what ifs in a negative. Like, yo, what if this can't happen? What if we only what if we did this? But what if this works?
What if the positive? Oh, I like that. Yeah. What if the positive?
What if this makes a lot? Like, how do we gain that verbiage instead of instantly thinking negative? Like, just as human beings, we point out the bad and then we think of the bad. So what ifs are valid if you think positive first. What if this was to work? What if I get blessed with a team that does know this a little bit more than me? What if what if this post go viral? What if this podcast reaches the networks that it needed to? Like, what if I lose the weight actually in 2 weeks instead of the 4 that I did? Like, if we were to plan the what ifs in a positive way than necessarily a negative, that could change a lot of things. But we instantly think negative, and that's going to take a minute to change. I'm guilty of it as well. Because and the verbiage, well, I'm a realist. In what world?
Right.
Like, in your world, that's real. And you feel me? Like, ask another human being, that may not be reality to them. So in your world, you think because you're a realist, in your environment, that's what's real. That's not what's real in France. That's not what's real in Australia. That's not what's real.
Yeah.
But there's no right or wrong or either. So I'm not saying what you think is wrong. I'm just saying it's a challenge for most to think of the positive vibes of a what if than a negative.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too? I was gonna say, I listening to this book earlier, and they talk about like the difference between, let's just call it producers and consumers, right? Just to keep it simple, because we've heard that terminology. They said that CEOs at the highest levels, they actually challenge their people to think of what if from a negative standpoint. So like, I like what we just coined, right? Like, think of what if from a positive standpoint.
Yeah.
They say at some point, some of the best CEOs in the world, they challenge their people to think about what ifs from the negative standpoint. But they don't stop there. They ask them to do something about it. So like, it's one thing to think of what if and you stop. It's like, oh, but what if I don't succeed? And then you just stop. Like, you stop trying, you stop thinking, you stop trying to figure out ways to get around that what if.
Yeah.
But I like this mentality of, even if that's the case, you can still find a way around that. Like, say, okay, well, how can I resolve that? If that thing were to happen, how can I resolve that? Is it the end of the world? And that's the part that I actually learned through my own experience, that when you walk out your greatest fears all the way out, whatever it is that you're concerned about, the thing that scares you the most, the thing that you worry about the most, when you walk it all the way out and you say, okay, what if that was to happen, then what?
Right.
Or whatever it may be. And then what? And you just keep then what in it all the way through to figure out, you're going to be like, yo, at the end of the day, it's not even that bad. Like, even the worst case scenario at the end of the day is not that bad. Like, for people living in America who have access to the internet and content and social media and all these things, it is still not that bad compared to other people around the world who, if their what if takes place, they have no second chance.
Right.
But for people like for people like us, for anyone listening to this, every single one of us are blessed, because regardless of what may happen, our worst negative what if taking place is still better than someone's greatest chance. So it's like, don't think of what if and stop. Think of what if and say, well, what else can I do? Is there someone that I can get with? Is there an opportunity to do something about it? Right. And just that is going to keep you still trying, right? Thinking, looking for ways, looking for opportunities, thinking of solutions instead of just getting stuck on problems. That's one of my greatest pet peeves. It's like, we spend more time talking about the problem, yet we say we want solutions. And it's like that thing drives me nuts.
Yeah, and I think that's why I take the approach of the positive way instead of the negative, because you could get paralyzed with negative. Mm-hmm. Like, you can go into a rabbit hole because we're so used to pointing out negative. You go down a rabbit hole of all the negative things about this particular thing, right? To where I dare you to go in a rabbit hole of the positive.
Crazy.
Right? Like, what are you going to say? Like, oh, we could make 1,000. Yo, we can make 3,000. Oh, if we do this 10 more times, look at all the stuff who would that impact? Like, yo, we could get the building we were talking about. Like, I dare you to think positive. But yeah, I know for me, if I was to, like, you almost get defensive on the negative, right? It's like, oh, yeah, like your energy drains. You get defensive. It's like, oh, all right. So what if this, like, so what's the point? Okay, what's the solution? I mean, if there was a solution, like you already, like, if that you is, start buying into it. Right. It's definitely, and being in a group setting, I've seen the second that there is a negative thorn, it changes a lot. Regardless if you have that very optimistic person, right? Like like me and you, we switched that role. It's like, yeah, this ain't it, right? This ain't it. And you may be like, what? It's going to work out. It's going to be great.
No, it's I'm like, we got opportunity here.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to go. Because as long as both of us, there's strong times where both of us are like, no, right? Not happening. We don't do that. As long as one of us is optimistic in some way, shape, or form, we go about it, right? But when it's a group setting, it's like that one person that's optimistic, it's very hard to change 4 or 5 or whatever. Now, it takes a strong individual, right? But I'm saying it's, if you could, for me, I'm changing it to the positive because it's easier to shift that mind quicker than, all right, here's the negative situation. Here's the problem of this. Oh, great. We had another problem. Man. All right, let's think of a solution. Now, everybody's solution based.
Right.
I can't talk to a group of people who are not solution based about solutions. Here's the optimistic one saying, all right, let's dig deeper. How?
Keeps getting shot down.
Right. I'm like, okay, but that's also, now if you are in a group of other solution-based people, that works out perfect. They look forward to getting problems. They don't look forward to like the whole process of, okay, here's a problem, here's a solution, there you go, right? But if you're going with a group of people who don't like problems, don't like conflict, don't like anything like that, it is a struggle. I'm like, I can't think of everything. Hello.
Yeah. No, it's tough. Yeah. And in those cases, I'm just finding myself like, I'm just gonna give you like a fair warning. Like, hey, I know this is uncomfortable, but just bear with it. Like, just stick out the uncomfortable feeling. But that's about the most that I can do, because if I deviate from what we're focused on to address that concern, to your point, at that point, we've just left the whole positive what if, and we're like sitting in the mud now. Right. Like that I have this conversation with someone very close to me. I'm not even gonna put them out like that, but I always tell them, I'm like, so let me ask you a question, and I hate to be so like explicit. So if you stepped on, say, like dog poop.
Okay. All right. That's nasty. All right.
Because you need to feel it. Or
why would you need to feel it?
Feel your feelings. Let me finish my point. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about feel
the dog poop. Because you want to feel the dog.
Because you want to
feel the dog. Because you want to feel. You step on poop because you want to feel the poop.
No, I'm talking about because you want to feel your feelings. You're like, okay, oh no, I'm gonna just let it sit on my shoe. It's like, yo, how?
That smells. That's
exactly my point. I'm just saying, like, connect that though. But I don't know if you've ever come across some people will say like, no, I can't just have something happen to me and just automatically switch gears and go in the opposite direction. And I'm like, why not? Like, why sit in a bad situation? So I use the example of, yo, it's like stepping in something that doesn't smell good. Let me just clean it up a little bit. And you're like, nah, you know what? I just need to see how that feels. It's like, yo, no, go dust yourself off. It's like that song from back in the day. Dust yourself off and try again.
What if you don't have another shoe to put on to dust it off?
Walk barefoot. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but don't sit in the smell. Don't sit in what doesn't feel good. That to me never makes sense. Like, people who are in tune with their emotions will sit in a situation because they say they can't jump. Like it's like, oh, I can't just, it's not a light switch. I can't just turn off my emotion from one day to the next. It's like, I understand that and fair by all means. But at the same time, how much longer are you going to continue to sit in something that doesn't feel right? At some point, you got to be like, nah, if you've been doing the negative what ifs for your whole life and you're not happy with your outcome, how much longer are you going to keep trying the negative what ifs? At what point are you going to be like, well, man, I kind of don't like what Nicky is saying, but these positive what ifs do seem a little interesting. Like, at what point are you going to be like, all right, let me give that a try. Right. And that's all I'm saying. If you've been doing something for an extended period of time and it's not giving you what you want, do something different. Try something different. Don't sit in it. And walk barefoot. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the comments.
Unless you walked your dog and you went straight to your car and you didn't realize, and you're like, what is happening?
What is that smell?
What is that smell? What's happening? Is it the vent?
Right. What did the oil change? What is this?
This is a vent? What is happening in my car? And then you, okay, all right, no, hold up. All right, in that situation, yes, that happened. Whatever. I don't care. Right? I'm transparent. Whatever. If those who have a dog have all been through it, I don't really care. Yeah. Right? So what if you step in some things, there's a problem, and you're blaming everything else except for the situation that you stepped on.
Yeah, you're looking at everybody else's shoes.
I was looking at the vents. I looked at is the leather old? Is this something that we gotta change? Yeah. Somebody on the passenger side, maybe it's underneath the rug. This is crazy. I was blaming everything until I got out, and I was like, "Oh, this is right."
And me all along. Nah, but that, you know what? In real world example though, I compare that to ownership. And for me, that's a principal rule.
Right.
Even when I have a valid reason to tell you why it's your fault, I'm still going to bring that finger back towards me and say, yo, it's my fault.
Right.
In every single situation that I've ever been a part of that did not pan out the way I wanted to, guess what? I was a part of it. I contributed at least 50%. Like I'm there. You could say, well, I'm not the one that made the decision. Well, guess what? If you were there and you heard that was the decision that was going to be made and you didn't agree with it and chose to say nothing, then you too have contributed in the decision. So I've learned that since me not making it as a pro in baseball. Like that was my first love. So when I walked away from the sport, it was so easy for me to be like, yo, it was this coach's fault and that person's fault and that coach's fault. And if I would have stayed there, I would have been like that miserable athlete that always sits in the corner talking about, yo, back in my day, you should have seen me. Boy, I would have been the next A-Rod. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to be that guy. So I was just like, bro, it's your fault. It's your fault.
Shout out to A-Rod.
Shout out. Oh, you seen the little that joint? Yeah.
They're so messy. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm just like, nah, in that situation, that's a principal rule that I live by. And that is point the finger or point the thumb back to yourself before you point the finger. It's like, I'm always looking to take ownership because that's just the most that I can control at any given moment.
I can't say I wanted to take ownership of a bad smell.
Of the situation.
That's not. And I say that
example because the example is a little extreme. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, yes and no. It depends on how you
example and be like, yo, we're gonna stick to this poop in the foot example.
Right.
We're gonna talk about this.
But this is the thing. Some situations that you may be in may smell that bad. Whether it is in an impact situation, like the impact is just that bad. Like, and you don't want to take ownership sometimes. It takes a really strong individual to be like, so, okay, shout out, even though this is a bad day to say shout out to those people who's been on the subway, right? This is a really bad day for that. Prayers to people in Brooklyn. But if somebody smells in the car, in the subway cart, right?
Oh, that's miserable.
Ain't nobody claiming that. No, ain't nobody miserable. Claiming that.
Yeah, no, that messed up my whole day. Yeah, I'm tight. I'm upset.
No one's claiming. Everybody in New York has this face.
Right.
No one flinched. No nothing. Everybody in or they sleep. That's it. You'll never know. No one's gonna, and I say that, because we're just on this stinky vibe, whatever. I don't care. But some business situation, some brand business situation may cause such a big stink in your group, with your brand or whatever, that you don't necessarily want to claim all the time. Ain't nobody, and I'm bringing it back to the Subway thing. Yep, that was me. Right. I farted.
Sorry, y'all.
That's me. My bad.
Sorry,
my bad.
That's my bad.
I don't know what to tell you. We're all humans. We all have to let this out. I let it out in the wrong time. No, what? Who does that? You may at the end when you leave hit your friend like.
That was me.
But is that ownership? Like, what are we doing?
The little elbow piece. That was me. Sorry about that. Sorry you had to stand 2 stations, wait 2 stops. Yo, that's too much. That's too much. Oh, man.
This is what happens when I'm sick. You enter this smelly and poopy talk.
That's my fault, y'all. That's my fault. See, I'm gonna do this right now. Look, that's my fault.
That's me. That's me. I unleashed Nicky's poopy talk.
And it went downhill from there. I don't know how we could possibly recuperate. Okay. I hope y'all enjoying this though. I'm seeing a lot of comments come through right now. But real talk.
All right, what are we talking about?
No, we staying right here for a minute. Now, real talk. I would love this though, man. If you're comfortable, maybe this could be like the first practice of courage to some extent, right?
Okay.
If you can, drop in the chat the thing that you fear when thinking of rejection, right? Like whether it be why you fear rejection, it could be OPO, right? Other people's opinion. It could be, I know for me, it's pride. I'm very prideful. So I never want to overly present myself in a way that can put me in a vulnerable state too much. Like if it's something that I've conquered and I'm using it as a lesson, then by all means, I'm willing to be vulnerable. But I do have that fear of rejection when it comes to I expose something prematurely and I don't have it figured out, or I don't have a good answer, or I can't make a good example of something to be a quote unquote leader or be a good example for somebody else. So that's I know for me, I definitely will fear rejection when I'm like, man, am I about to present something too premature? So I'm curious, man, for y'all tuned in, just drop it in the chat. Like, yo, what's the thing that when you think of this, you think of immediately fear of rejection comes to your mind? Like, nope. Oh no, I'm not about to do it, and you back out immediately. Let me know in the comments real quick. I want to know what are some of those things that might get you to cringe a little bit, or at least think twice about what you're doing before you just move in that spirit of what you feel most comfortable on. But real quick, I want us to also, while that goes on, to talk about that other people's opinion, because I feel like a big part of rejection is rooted in other people's opinion. What are they going to say? Right. And I think that's a big part of it.
I mean, it's natural to think, like, to sit here and say, don't care about nobody's feelings. That's just unrealistic. Right. But it also goes thinking that they're thinking of us all the time and they're not. You know? Like, we assume, like, when you said that, I was like, yo, the disappointment of, like, disappointing mentors, disappointing family is some of the fears, right? And I'm like, yo, they ain't checking for you like that.
Right.
Like, every little thing you do, they ain't checking for you like that, right? And sometimes we could get paralyzed off of thinking of other people. What are they going to think? What are they going to do? Are they going to like this? Are they not going to like it? They're going to buy it. They're not going to buy it. They're not checking for you as much as you think. Like, you can mess up. They may remember it, and then they'll forget. We live in a social media world where things last 15 minutes. Things last maybe a day, maybe a week, depending who you are. But it really depends who you are. And it's not it's really not that deep to the extent. Like I was listening to Amy Porterfield's podcast today, and it was like disappointment on a launch, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things, one of the biggest problems was people compared themselves to their last stuff, right? So it's not even what other people may think. It's more of which is good. You're comparing yourself to your other, like your old stuff, but that you're in a new time, you're in a new situation, you have new followers, you have new people looking at your business. There's certain new elements that we're not putting under consideration, and so we look at it like, oh, I failed at this, or I don't want to do this because it doesn't have the same results, or this is not even what I expected, you know? And it's like, first off,
yeah,
what did you expect? Like, and who said that you had to get this, that, and the third? And of course, that goes from a consuming standpoint, but also like, well, if I don't make this, what are they going to say about me? No one's going to say you're not successful. No one's going to say, no one's going to take the time and be like, all right, let me count this up. Oh, they're not sold out, so this isn't worthy of my time. What? No one's checking for you. I'm just like that, at least I'll say. No one's checking for you like that.
Yeah. That's a rude awakening too. I think sometimes we think that people are watching our every move, that they're going to hold on to our everything, right? Like people move on. And I think just if you hang around the internet world today, you realize that when somebody makes a mistake or they do something that they regret, the first thing that they do is they disappear. They stop posting. They stop making public appearances because they know if I can disappear for long enough, the hundreds of millions of pieces of content that are uploaded across social media daily, eventually they're going to override the silly or dumb thing that I've done. And people are going to forget about me and just simply move on with their lives. Because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is just, I think of it now as just a game. I think of business as a game. I think of the online world as a game. I'm like, yo, this stuff is not fake. This is something that God gave us to do so we can entertain ourselves when we're not focused on doing what he's called us to do. Yeah. Or when we're not fulfilling our commitment and worshiping him. That's just me. As a believer, that's just how I've come to realize it. Yeah. I'm like, stop confusing the two and making it backwards. You've made what you were created to do, which is your life. Yep. You've made that the side piece. And you've made the side piece your entire life, and you're worried about. It's like you got that thing confused. All of that stuff, social media, business, all of that. That's just something you do on the side for fun. Your life is about your relationship with the Creator. Your life is about your health. It's about your family. Because when you think of challenges that come in those three areas, those are the ones that hit the hardest. You can't get bailout from a sickness bed, or when you're lying in bed sick and you can't get no help, or there's no medicine to cure you. You can't get no bailout from when something is happening to your family that no one can get you out of except the man upstairs. You can't get bailout for that. But you know what? In business, there's loans. That's a bailout. At work, there's unemployment. That's a bailout. Right? On social media, there's a viral formula. People can share your stuff. That's a bailout to some extent. Yeah, you put in the work, but that's a bailout. So we really got to come to grips with this, that at the end of the day, that stuff is just there for fun. It's there for us to have a little bit of entertainment when we're not focused on what we're really supposed to be doing. So I think that's the biggest piece that we really got to think about. Like, oh, it's fun. Let me just have fun. It's a game. So what if I don't win today? So what if they don't like it today? So what if they don't comment today? Maybe they will tomorrow, right? And you don't take it as personal. And quite frankly, when people see that their rejection of you doesn't hurt you as much, they actually start to feel you a little bit more. They're like, oh shoot, yo, I told Nikki that I don't like her hat, and she barely flinched. Man, I kind of like the fact that she's so confident about how she looks that she don't even care what others think about her dress. And guess what? That person gonna start. You get me? Like, so what I'm saying is, even the rejection could be the reason why people start to accept you, because you've embraced it as part of the process so much so that people are now looking at you like, yo, that's dope. I want that trait. I want that attribute and characteristic to be able to embrace someone saying something to me with not in a good light, yet you still are able to maintain your composure and keep moving. So that's how I've been seeing it. And it's like, man, when we start to look at life that way, things could really change, man.
Look, everybody loves what you said. I'm not really gonna say anything past that. I'll say something different. I'm not going over that. That's crazy. Shout out to everybody who's live in the chat. We see y'all. But it's funny because I dropped, mind you, because I've been sick. I've been repurposing a lot, right? And I repurposed one of like behind the scenes of creating Nicky and Moose, right? So showing that we use Ecamm and everything like that. And somebody was like, man, Nicky, you could come better, right? I'm going to take my like back, right? And I was like, do I respond? I realized I don't need to respond. My followers are going to respond. My followers like, yo, it wasn't even a tutorial. Like, if it was like an introduction, and if you need further, like, don't worry, you take that back. I'll give her a like, right? And my man who initially said that went off, cursing up a storm. And here's where I come. I said, hey, first off, appreciate your, you know my vibes. Appreciate your feedback, right?
Yeah.
Love the feedback. I'm gonna just need you to do me a favor. I need you not to go that hard on my followers, right? Because just like how you gave an opinion, they gave an opinion, right? And so that's all I'm asking, right? My man came back like 100% respect your platform, but I'm not going to let anybody go crazy with somebody who has no followers. And I would never say, here's me, and I would never say do not defend yourself. All I'm saying is just, there could have been a different way. Yo, I learned so much from this. Like, so you may not have learned anything from my initial post, but you got something out of it somehow, some way, changed. Sir.
Yeah.
So I realized that there's still, like, if you put something out and somebody may not like it, you can still get them to learn something in the back end. Somehow, some way. And yeah, Nicky's followers are serious. I was like, hey, yo, whoa. Yeah. I didn't know this.
That's real. That's real. That's real. Nah, this was dope, man. Rich convo. Yeah. Hey, do us a favor, man, and share this with someone. This is a special live, man. We talk real stuff. This wasn't no fancy jargon about, whatever it could have been about as it relates to business. That stuff is important, but I think tonight was real. So share this with someone. Don't just take it for yourself, but definitely share it with someone. Let them tap in with this live.
And clean your shoes and
and take ownership on the train.
Take ownership of your smells.
Yeah.
Yo, anyways, we're out, people. Do us a favor. Share this, like Moose said. Share the podcast. Shout out to all my followers, because like I said, I've been like completely drained. So I asked, yo, can y'all promote the podcast for me? Because I can't do it today. I can't. I was struggles. And y'all came through. Continue to share it on your stories, y'all post. Text it to people. We appreciate any and everything. Plus, Daryl is so dope. Like, so dope. And we just want to continue to highlight really dope people. But that's it, people. We love you. We appreciate you watching. You know what we're gonna say.
Peace, y'all.
Holla.